You're listening to Tales of the Forsaken, an actual play podcast by Noble Jester Productions.
All right, so Kor has just promised that we would help. I think that this is kind of the swear an iron vow move. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for this. So we need to first give this vow a rank.
Hold on. It's really important to me to know if people started chanting with Oule or not.
Oh, yeah.
We need to roll for this. What do you think the odds were?
I think the odds are realistically pretty low. I think Esmar in general, yes, they acknowledge that Yindra is a goddess, but I think Esmar doesn't really acknowledge her as their queen, so to speak.
It's pretty much like, have you seen the Three Amigos?
I actually have not.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Maybe we need to make that a future...
Yes, you're going to watch Three Amigos and come back and talk about it. Okay, so there's this scene. So you've got Three Amigos, and there's this guy that comes into this town that goes into a bar and says, like, hey, I've got some friends coming here, and he has, like, a message for them. And they all kind of like, haha, like laugh him off, and he like ends up killing a guy, and they're all kind of freaked out. He's like, hey, I hope you pay like respect to the guys that come after me. Don't treat them the same way you treated me. Okay, these bad guys. But what comes first is the Three Amigos, which is Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short, and they're actors coming into like they're going for an acting gig, and they don't realize that everything's actually real. So they come into this bar, and all the people in the bar think that they're like these big bad dudes. So they put on a performance of this incredible song called My Little Buttercup, and they like get the guys to sing along, kind of go with them because they're all scared of them, thinking that like something bad's gonna happen. So it's like kind of like that. So
are you saying that you think the percentage should be higher?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's still low, but only people be like going along, or just kind of like, who are these guys? This is kind of weird, and okay, I'll kind of go along. So there's a chance some of them might do it, but it's not like they're excited about it.
Maybe like a 40% chance.
I'll take those odds.
Yeah,
that's
we just did them a good service. We drove off the enemy, and we're promising to help them more.
All right, let's see here. That is a 66.
So no, right?
No.
Yeah. So Oule's trying to start this chant, and Kor just kind of looks awkward for a minute.
Oule keeps going for a bit. He doesn't care.
All right.
He loves his Yindra.
So I'm going to roll here so we have to give the quest a rank.
Okay.
What do we think the rank of going after these guys and bringing back these supplies is going to be? I don't think, he just left. I don't think it's an incredibly difficult vow.
No, he's also like injured, kind of tail between his legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe dangerous?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So we'll do a dangerous vow here, and swearing this to a community with whom we share a bond. So I'm going to add a +1 and roll with heart. All right. Definitely succeed, so that's a strong hit.
Nice.
We're emboldened, and it's clear what we must do next, so we can take +2 momentum. And I think that makes sense narratively, because it would be pretty clear what we need to do next, and chase down Pemba, who just left. So,
okay.
Feel free to take +2 momentum. I'm already full, so that doesn't really do anything for me. But
if I'm distracted and have you repeat something, it's because I'm singing My Little Buttercup to myself.
You're welcome to sing it to the audience if you want.
No, but I'm not that comfortable.
All right. So I think that, we've now got this vow that we've sworn, and, that said, I do still think before we just go running off after a raiding party of half giants, we do still need to rest a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not able to use the sojourn move, but maybe we go a little ways outside of the village and still try to do resupply.
Yeah.
So when you hunt, forage, or scavenge, roll plus wits. You want me to roll, or you want to roll?
I feel like you're rolling pretty good. You go for it.
Okay. That is a 5 against a 3 and a 1. So yeah.
Sweet.
Strong hit. So we can take +2 supply, which bumps us up to a 4.
Nice.
Which is good. So we were pretty low. How's your health?
I am max health and spirit. I'm good.
Okay. I'm at a 4 health, but I think I'm good. I'm not too worried about that.
I'll be fine.
I mean, I guess I could try to just kind of like bandage up my wounds. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the heal move as we're...
Do you want me to try to attend to your wounds? Because it's going to be harder for you trying to do it on your own. Because you have to roll the lower of your wits or iron because you're treating your own injury.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I do also have Herbalist, which gives me a boost of +2.
Oh, that's pretty good then.
Yeah, so I would be at a 3 essentially.
Oh, okay.
You would be at a 3 as well, right? Because you'd be using, I'm assuming, iron?
No, I'd have to roll wits.
Oh, plus wits.
Yeah,
okay.
So, yeah, go for it then.
Yeah, so as Kor is, kind of foraging around, he finds some beneficial herbs and things, and he's going to try to bandage himself up a little bit. That's a weak hit, so I still get...
So you still heal.
But I have to suffer negative supply or momentum. I'm going to suffer negative momentum. I'm just going to kind of say it takes a little longer than we necessarily were hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
But health is back up to full.
Nice.
All right. So to chase down Pemba, we think we need to make a journey to get there.
I mean, they are unfamiliar lands to us.
Yeah. I'd say let's undertake a journey here.
Probably just a troublesome journey.
Yeah, I wouldn't think he's that far ahead. We did spend some time resupplying and healing, and that slowed things down, but I wouldn't think he's super far ahead. So
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say a troublesome journey. So I'll filling up this sheet here pretty quick.
Yeah. Would you consider this that we're setting off from a community that we have a bond?
I would.
Yeah, because then we get to add a +1 to our initial roll. So just this first one.
All right. Well, you've been leading the way when we've been doing journeys, because you're at least a tiny bit more familiar, with this place than I am. So
narratively,
Yeah.
Not mechanically. Okay, so it'll be a +3 then for my wits. So that is a strong hit. Does it matter if I'm rolling the same thing on the challenge dice? Is that like an every time thing, or just on like a miss?
I mean, I think it's... If you roll the same and you beat it, it's supposed to be like, something extra good happens.
Okay.
Whereas if you roll the same and you miss, then it's supposed to be something extra bad.
Okay, well, I like the extra good.
Yeah.
So, got a strong hit, so we'll reach a waypoint. Maybe we find, like, a spot that they stopped, like, and made, a quick camp as they were trying to kind of bandage Pemba up on their way, so we're on their trail.
Yeah, how about, with that extra good thing, what if we find something that, like, a spot or, just kind of get some kind of an almost divine sense of aid from Yindra?
I like this. Okay.
We know that this is kind of marshes, so we're making our way through trying to follow this, the tracks and things, and we find this, raised up portion of earth that's harder, and we kind of make our way up onto it, and feel like as we step onto this, there's just this almost sense of peace and rightness that kind of falls on us, and things calm, and there's almost like a column of sunlight that is bathing down on us. And I don't know what happens here, but I feel like we would both kind of recognize and know that this is Yindra kind of focusing her attention on us.
Mm-hmm. Even with Kor being a little kind of like not super into it, do you think you would still feel that?
Yeah, I mean, Kor is still a marked of Yindra. He's, she's his goddess, she's his leader, his queen.
Mm-hmm.
He's more into kind of the concept of his brotherhood of the marked and a little less fanatical about Yindra, but he still acknowledges who she is.
Yeah, it's more just kind of like factual, while like Uli's like basking in this ray of light and like Oh man, Kor, do you feel that? That's beautiful. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yes, seems that Yindra has sent us her blessing.
Is that it, man? That's all I'm gonna get from you? Oh, he's got like welling up tears in his eyes. He's just like feeling like the love from her. Just nothing? Oh, come on.
It's always nice to know that your leader is watching over you and happy with what you're doing.
She's so happy right now.
I'm sure she is.
Yep.
Anything else?
Just give me a moment. I'm just gonna spend a little second here.
All right, you do that.
Okay. All right, so Uli just takes a moment to bask in Yindra's divine light.
All right, well, I'm going to mark progress here.
So then we had 3 progress from that, correct?
Yep. I would say, roll again, and I'd say the boost that Yindra is going to give us is that maybe take a +1 there.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, that's a solid roll on that, which is good because if I had not had that boost from Yindra, it would have been a miss because I rolled an 8 and a 9. So thankfully it is still a weak hit.
Okay.
So we reach the waypoint, we mark the progress, but we do suffer -1 supply.
All right. Well, it's a good thing we filled up our supply a little bit before we left.
Yep, for sure.
So now we're down to a 3 on supply. Do we want to pull out the book and try to roll on a table here to see what we find at this waypoint, or do we want to just keep going?
Let's do that. I think
right.
We haven't used the oracle at all on our evenings, so we should do that.
Location. So go ahead and roll.
Okay, that is a 5.
Okay. Mystical sight.
Oh, okay. I'm interested.
Yeah,
I'm sitting forward now on my seat.
Let's roll again and go for a description here.
Okay. This is a 9.
Broken
mystical sight. Do we need anything else with that?
I like the idea of this. So I know with these, we've talked about Esmar kind of being more like almost druidic, ritualistic. Rillian, it's kind of a very draconic worship kind of a place. All of the names and things on Esmar very much draconic and pointing back to Rin. So I would think that, if there's although they may acknowledge Yindra, there's probably a much greater sense on Esmar of actually worshiping Rin and kind of pointing back to Rin as the creator and, kind of the magical sustainer of what's going on, and, Yindra as kind of a figurehead. So I'd say we're making our way through these swamps and we come upon what almost appears to be, standing stones kind of, but as we get closer, it actually looks like claws sticking up out of the ground. These stones have kind of been worked into the shape of claws, and maybe in the center there's a statue of some kind that's been broken and shattered.
Okay.
We make our way into this, central area, and we can see that this statue actually was a statue of Yindra. And Kor, kind of looks concerned, and he says, Uli, you have more of a connection to the magic than I do. Does something feel off about this circle?
It's like, kind of feels like Yindra, but as if there's how do I put this? Like a doorway, and we're inside, and there's light behind her, and it's kind of shining from behind her. It's kind of like that. Does that make sense?
No.
If you spend a little more time meditating with me in the mornings, these things would be a little more clear to you. There's something, I don't want to say it because I hope she's not listening, but it's kind of bigger than Yindra.
Okay. Kor kind of rubs his face and looks around the circle and says, I think we need to spend a bit of time and see if there's anything else we can find here.
Yeah, I'd like a chance to sit with these feelings here, and also this statue being messed up is not okay. I would like to spend a little time here and see if I can correct this a little bit, put it back together.
You do that. I'm going to look around and see if I can find anything.
And so Oule kind of like wraps like some fabric around like the handle of his shield and sets it down where it's like kind of the front of it's down on the ground, and he kind of is like pulling it around and putting pieces of the statue, kind of pulling it around to pull it up closer to where the statue is, and trying to like piece things together, but it's not going well.
Okay. Kor's gonna I'm gonna think, isn't there gather information? That didn't go so well the last time I tried it.
Yeah, we had a crocodile from that last gather information.
But I'm gonna try it this time. Technically, I think I can do that. I'm doing this in a, trying to figure it out with someone who I share a bond because of Yindra here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add a +1. I needed the +1. That makes it a strong hit. So you discover something helpful and specific. So I think Kor is looking around and he finds some kind of an emblem or something left behind that tells him that this was a marked who did this damage.
Mm-hmm.
Probably either a very specific magical kind of damage, marking that would be very marked in nature,
mm-hmm.
or something that they dropped that, actually does indicate that this was a marked. And so
what about we talked about how we were kind of raised and came up in the same class. What if like each of the class of marked kind of gets like a specific emblem that represents some sort of part of Yindra's deity, just like different types of things?
I like it.
So like what if it is one that is from our class?
Ooh. Okay. I like it.
Okay.
So Kor stops and he yells over to you. Oule, were you over here?
I don't know, look and see if there's any of the shield tracks over there.
He kind of reaches into the neck of his shirt, and he probably has this on a necklace of some kind, and feels for his and says, "Do you have your emblem?"
All the time, man.
But check and make sure.
Oh, yeah. He reaches in. Yeah, it's right here.
Kor reaches down and picks one up and holds it up holds it up to you.
Yeah, I already told you I got mine. He kind of holds it up like mimicking you.
And then he reaches in and pulls his out.
Oh, no. So, that's complicating.
Someone from our class.
Yeah, it's a problem. Oh, man. He kind of like sits down on one of the Yindra stone pieces. He's like deep in thought.
Kor walks over and he's kind of clearly like trying to piece things together in his head. He says, "So you're saying that there's something about this place that perhaps you could say Yindra's hold over it has been shattered and something else is seeping through? Is that what you meant by behind her in a doorway?"
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like, it's very familiar. It's like, it feels like her, but it's just like, kind of more, you know what I'm saying?
So Rin.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. There's the dragon stuff right there, so. Oh. He's kind of like putting things together.
I think this is more than just someone was targeting us.
Maybe there's something going on here that maybe even Yindra is not aware of?
I think someone from our class is trying to do something very underhanded here and tried to get rid of us so we wouldn't find it out.
Oh man, this is it's heavy stuff. Ooh. Yeah, it would make sense why they tried to sink the ship we were on. I don't think there are any other plans for more marked coming out this way that I'm aware of, so we might be on our own for a bit.
I think I'm sure the Yindra knows what we do and is... Obviously she's paying attention, but we need more information than this. We need an actual identity before we bring anything to her.
Absolutely. Well, let's keep that pendant, and we're definitely on the right track. I mean, we heard there was a mark that came through. We can help our friends back here in Foxhollow, and maybe we can... maybe there's information there that we didn't even get.
Yes, let's see what we can... Let's finish our mission here and help the people, and I think we need to change our course and make our next step Hard Rock.
Yes, yeah, that sounds good. And he's grabbing the last piece, and he's like putting like the Gindra's head like up on the shoulders, kind of like trying to hold it there, pushing it one way back and forth to get it to stay, and kind of steps back. All right, I'm ready to go.
Should we... Kor kind of looks a little awkward, and he says, should you perhaps try to rededicate this place?
That's a fantastic idea. You got some oils? I should anoint the statue here and bless it.
I'm fresh out of blessed oils.
I really keep telling you, when you're doing your herb gathering, you really should be making that a priority. We can have this conversation later, but we'll bless this. So he'll like kind of walk up and sit down in front of the Ender statue and kind of sprouts his wings as he stands there and kind of just absorbs her energy, and he says, "To our goddess and queen, dedicate this to your rightful and divine rule. We will do you proud. You got anything, Kor?" It's fine. I know you don't have anything. Let's just...
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, okay. Thou shalt not take her name in vain.
All right, you handle the spiritual parts.
Yeah. It's all right. I'm making up for it from you.
She knows how I feel.
Alright, so should we try to hopefully finish up our journey?
Yeah, so I have a quest, to discover the marked conspiracy and stop it, and I think finding this out is a progress along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and mark some progress on that.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, let's continue our journey.
Does me rededicating this broken mystical shrine help with my vow to bring Esmar more fully under Yndra's influence?
It could. I don't know why not. I mean, I don't really see anything that would, specifically be like a move that would, do this, but at the very least, what are your vows? Do you have...
So my two vows are to fulfill my oath to serve Yindra, and then to bring Esmar more fully under Yndra's influence.
I think that first one almost makes more sense.
Okay.
That we're actively serving Yindra by, not just rededicating the shrine, but actually taking a step to stop whatever was happening. If her, power is back in control of this shrine, then we're trying to stop whoever's trying to corrupt her.
Yeah. Did we both have that vow?
Yeah, we both had that.
Do we have a difficulty for that?
We did not set one.
Okay. Do we need that to know how much I can tick off?
We do. I mean, you want to just make it the hardest and do epic?
Sure.
I feel like that's kind of the biggest background vow here.
True, yep.
So that would mean one tick on that.
But hey, progress.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we need probably one more waypoint along this journey, and then we'll reach their group, assuming we succeed here.
Okay, hopefully I will. I would be saying my daily prayers here, so I can secure an advantage and get a blessing from Yindra on this.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I roll plus my god stat, which we said was iron. So then I will roll, so that would help me with momentum.
Yeah, so you're looking to secure an advantage before before we take this, so secure an advantage is you're probably rolling plus heart and then also plus iron.
Okay. So that's a strong hit. So
you can add a +1 to your undertake a journey roll, and I think your voting gives you some
momentum.
Momentum, yeah.
Nice. Now I'm back up to +6 momentum. Thank you, Yendra. And then, so then now I'm rolling for undertake a journey. You said I get an advantage.
Yeah, the advantage gives you a +1 to your next move.
Sweet. So then now I have a +3. 3 in wits. Yeah. Okay. Oh man, I keep rolling super high on the challenge dice.
I would actually say you have a +4 because we're setting out from this waypoint that we've now converted back to Yendra.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. That makes sense. So then I would have a weak hit.
Okay.
So we reach waypoint, mark progress, but then suffer another -1 supply. And it's a really good thing that you rolled well and got our supplies, because we would be out if it wasn't for that.
That's okay. Accurate.
We're going to come back loaded, so it's fine. So
we are now down to a 2 on supply, and we're at a 9 on the journey track, so I think we should go ahead and just try to reach our destination here.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll the challenge dice, and we're comparing it to a 9.
Yeah, 2 and a 9.
So that's a weak hit.
So we ride, but face an unforeseen hazard or complication.
So let's go ahead and roll on the tables again here to figure out kind of what the location is where we catch up to them.
Okay, I like that.
And we can maybe come up with kind of a complication with that.
77. It's got to be good. 2 sevens.
77 is a forest.
Okay. Should we get a description of that?
Yeah.
20.
Contested
forest. So have the raiders become the raidees?
Maybe. So, they were raiding into the Bloody Spear clan.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this forest is kind of right on the edge of the Flame Tongue clan and the Bloody Spear clan, as the marsh kind of gives way to the frozen forest,
okay,
which is where they're from. And maybe there's kind of a turf war that's going on, constantly at the edge of this forest.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe when we come upon them, they've actually been, they're, being attacked by some of the Bloody Spears, who have come upon them.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So what if we stumble upon this kind of bigger war, bigger battle that's happening, and the group that we've been following, Pemba and these supplies, they've been taken over, but there's actually we can see a large group of the Flame Tongues, coming to attack whoever this was, the Bloody Spears that have taken out Pemba. And we got to figure out, do we go help them for these supplies? Or are we just going to leave? What are we going to do?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good complication. Oh, man.
Maybe Pemba and his people are actually, captured and tied up, Maybe there's a little fort or an encampment of some kind, that they've been taken to, and we can see a large group of Flame Tongues coming towards that fort, and we got to figure out, are we going to go try to help these Bloody Spears?
I feel like if we're trying to fulfill our vow and have some sort of ally here to get more information, it probably is worth it to do it, unless it's a force that's just so insurmountable that it's not worth fighting. Maybe we try to get these guys out of here, grab supplies and run, and go, hey, just leave Pemba behind, we'll deal with it later, you can't win this fight, we're here from your chieftain, we're getting these supplies, let's go. Do you want to try to just get out of here?
I'm fine with that, yeah.
Okay.
All right, yeah, so we kind of, reach probably a little bit of a higher ground and can see forest, this frozen forest stretching out in front of us. And Kor points and says, "Oule, look, there's a encampment or a fort or something over there, and it looks like, is that Pemba? He's tied up."
Yeah, I can't tell. I don't know the clan super well, but they kind of look like the ones we were back with.
Well, yeah, that would make sense. We're still in the marshes, and this is it. I would guess that this is kind of the edge of the territory if the forest is there. Perhaps we should go and see if we can get the supplies back then.
Yeah.
As we start down the hill, maybe you see, this army kind of marching out of the.
Yeah, I start to see
trees.
like torches starting to come out of the darkness of the trees, the tree line. Oule yells over at Kor, "We gotta hurry up. That's gonna be a problem."
Let's move quickly. So they start running down the hill.
I mean, at that point, probably sprout our wings and fly down if it's.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, we sprout our wings and fly down into this camp.
Yeah, land, in the middle and just start yelling, "The Flame Tongue are approaching. There's a large force." And kind of looking around and seeing there's no way that this group is big enough to be able to take care of it.